Steve was living in Italy at the time when he was on his carnivore diet, which to me is like, that's the craziest thing you ever want to do. I used to jump out of airplanes and stuff, but that ain't as crazy as trying not to eat the good stuff they make in Italy, like pizza, pasta, panini,
arancini, birra.
All right. You guys ready? I'm gonna launch this rocket.
Launch it, Chris.
All right. Here we all are again. Bald Noggins. You're at the right place, because today we brought our special guest. Obviously, Mike's always here. We don't know why.
We can't get rid of him.
He's not special.
Oh, he's
No,
special.
I was talking about the special guest,
That's the way you think.
which is our expat expert from Italy, of Italy, Steve. Welcome, Steve. He's
Thank
back.
you so much, Chris.
And we're actually, the topic of conversation today is something everyone is interested in, because it has to do with diet and being in Italy, fun stuff like that. And last Friday was actually the Quitter's Day, what they call Quitter's Day, because what do they say, like 80% of the people that start a New Year's resolution usually quit by Friday, the second Friday of
By
the
the 8th day.
Hey, I lasted 2 more days than the average.
See? Already you're ahead.
I mean, saying
See
something.
this? I knew this guy. He's total discipline.
So
They
anyway,
call
so
Dr. D.
it's exciting, and it hopefully this will motivate everyone to continue on with the resolution, lose weight, exercise, or whatever it is, grow your hair. I didn't.
What?
Bald noggin.
Get rid of that bald noggin.
Or keep that head bald.
I'm going to keep it bald. Shine it up a little bit.
So anyways, I think I were going to start off with Steve. He spent many years in Italy over the course of his life. And actually, he started the carnivore diet. If you're not familiar with the carnivore diet, that is where you just eat proteins, meat, dairy, and that's it. Meat and dairy, pretty much. And Steve, fish, meat, yeah. And Steve was living in Italy at the time when he was on his carnivore diet, which to me is like, that's the craziest thing you ever want to do. I used to jump out of airplanes and stuff, but that ain't as crazy as trying not to eat the good stuff they make in Italy, like pizza and pasta, panini,
Arancini.
Arancini, birra.
yeah.
All right, we got it. We got the.
So Steve, go ahead and kind of inform us a little bit more about your misguided adventure and how it helped the rest of your life.
So, actually, I've had skin issues, actinic keratosis, which is you get these little scratchy things, and then you scratch them and they bleed, and it's sort of like on your face, on your hands, whatever. For probably for the last 25 years. So in 2021, my wife and I sold our house, reorganized my business, and up and moved to Italy. We bought a little house in a little medieval town in about an hour outside of Naples. And it was amazing. It was fun. It was just the absolute, like going to Mars from suburban Chicago. And then I had, I don't know, you just kind of, life changes, whatever. And I thought, what I think I should do. Oh, no, I know what happened. Is a friend of mine sent me a link to a video that was talking about going vegetarian. And so this football team, Atlanta, something or other, I'm not a big football fan, but whatever, they went vegetarian and they won the title. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to give it a whirl. So I went vegetarian in like 2021, 22, probably in August of 22. Just, I thought, you know what? I can do it. It can't hurt. So my wife is loves to cook, and going vegetarian for her was a big challenge. Like, okay, so we're just going to eliminate meat, but I'm going to cook vegetarian dishes. And so I was really into rice and beans and three bean
Sour
soup
cream.
and sour cream. I was a lacto-ovo vegetarian, so I did eggs and dairy, whatever. And you know what? I was a happy camper. I was big into beans and rice, loved beans and rice. Anyway, long to compress. So I did that for a little over a year. And then I was back in the States in, I'm trying to get my years right, 23. In September of 23, I was back in the States, and I went to my barber, and I hadn't seen him in 6 months. He walks into the room, and I said, "What happened to you?" So this guy has a black belt in karate, works out all the time, whatever. But he had lost like 30 pounds. He was as skinny as a rail. And he said, "Well, I'm going to tell you a long story. I went carnivore." He said, "I did it for 30 days. And he said, my sleep was better. Everything about me was better." And I was like, so up until that time, I had been doing vegetarian for a little over a year. And I just said, okay, I think I'm done being a vegetarian. I'm going to be a meat eater.
Yeah.
And
Grill
so,
master.
but the difference was, it wasn't that I just read something. I met someone who was in good health, but went carnivore. And literally it changed their whole existence. He said, I have more energy than I've had since I was 20. He said, I'm working out less, but I'm getting stronger. Just because my protein, fat intake is bigger, better. So the funny part was, so that was on Thursday of September 28th of, I can't keep my years straight, whatever it was, 22, 23. I had Friday to actually start. So I started eating eggs and bacon, whatever. Just, I thought, okay, I'm switching. I'm done. I'm done with vegetarian. The vegetarian, I liked it. I didn't lose weight. I didn't feel any better. Nothing really changed except what I was eating. That was the only thing that changed for me. So I decided I was going to try the carnivore, and I started Googling YouTube videos and whatever, listening to whatever. And so that was on Friday. I went carnivore. On Saturday, I left for Rome to fly back to Italy. And so I was meeting, my wife took the train up from our little town to meet me in Rome. And so I meet her at the Termini train station in Rome. And I said, okay, I've got news for you. She said, what? I said, well, I'm no longer a vegetarian. I'm a carnivore.
He had no clue what that was, I bet.
No. And so literally, this is the fun part. So I Googled this. There's a restaurant in the Termini train station in Rome, which is La Porchetta di Araccia. So basically, they serve porchetta, which is actually a pork belly. So they take the belly and then they debone it, whatever that means. And then they shove a pork loin into the middle of it, and then they stuff other things. And so they make this gigantic roast that's probably 36 inches long and 12 to 16 inches around. So it's like a massive piece of meat.
And that's one serving for a carnivore.
And so I didn't know this was there, but I was waiting for my wife and I was just wandering through the upper level of the train station in Rome, and it's all restaurants. And I found this porchetta place and I'm like, I want just meat. And so the guy carves it off, and they're so much fun. You know what I mean? You go into a restaurant and it's not a chain, it's a person. And this is it's sort of like they're hugging their porchetta and they're hugging it and they're cutting off little pieces for you. And so I get a big bowl of that, and it was amazing. And so what became my quest in Italy was, how easy is this going to be to do? Because
I see a book coming.
Oh man.
well, there you go. So because Italy is, in most people's minds, it's pizza and pasta. It's all bread. I mean, but the flip side of that is literally alongside of that with equal amount of strength is, anytime you go to a restaurant, the antipasto. It's the beginning of the meal. It's all meat and cheese. I mean, it's salami, porchetta, prosciutto. I mean, it's anchovies and it's fish and it's shrimp and it's, so the beginning of your meal is literally completely protein based. And I never really thought of it, but so then we go there. And then, I mean, the secondo is, or the prima, which is the first plate after your antipasto, is pasta. And people are very understanding. Non piace. I don't like pasta. Okay. So as long as you eat everything on your plate, whatever you order, they'll like you. If you don't eat it, they go, what's wrong? You don't like it? No, I like it. I just can't eat it all. No, that doesn't matter. Like, you have to eat everything. So I would just order the meat and no the verdura, the vegetables after the meat. So Italy, as a carnivore, it is totally sustainable. And I was saying to Chris before we came on the show, I always thought it was very strange when we would go stay at a hotel and you get the breakfast at the hotel, that they would have meat and cheese, like bologna and ham and, every kind of meat sliced up and then cheese. Cold cuts for breakfast. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? No eggs? I mean,
yeah, but they don't. But most Italians, they do that for the Americans. Most Italians don't eat a big breakfast. Now, there's probably always somebody that does, but like growing up where we were, I never saw people would eat a cornetti and a cup of coffee, like a pastry and a cup of coffee. That was breakfast for the most part. Maybe other people,
Well, I think they maybe did it for the Germans and the Americans. I don't know. But typically, if you go to a cafe in the morning, you will never find meat. You will only find cornetti, which is the pastry and sugar, and that is typical. But at the hotels, they would have, for the more sophisticated lot,
right?
I mean, they would have meat and cheese. I never understood it, but I was very happy as a carnivore because I would get the eggs and the bacon and the sausage and, and it is very, very sustainable. And I was saying to Chris earlier, except for lunch, the midday pomeriggio, which is the afternoon lunch, it's pretty much sandwiches. If you go out, to the cafes or wherever, you're not going to find much in the way of meat, except if you buy like six sandwiches and then take the bread off, and they have like a slice of, very meager slice of meat and cheese. It's pretty much bread. But so the cool thing with the carnivore is I will say, I did not do carnivore to lose weight. I did carnivore for the health reasons, which is supposed to be great for cardiovascular health, for every kind of, just the functioning of your system. The high fat and the high protein, zero carbs is supposed to be amazing for your system. And I have found that to be true, but I did not do it to lose weight. And so I've been doing it for probably like almost 18 months. And in the first year, although I wasn't trying, I lost like 30 pounds without trying. And my literal number one goal of the day was to get enough to eat. It was never about being hungry. It was always about trying to eat enough to where I was satisfied. And that's what I always did. So bacon and ham and cheese and eggs and hamburgers and, everything that I could possibly ingest. So I was like, what?
You were like a porchetta.
I was like a porchetta.
You're a porchetta. You
So-
became the very thing you were eating. How does that
I was talking to my oldest brother, your oldest brother, Tim, today about the bistecca fiorentina, which is the Florentine beef steak. So it's literally a 3-inch cut of steak. It's sort of like, this is big in the north, like Tuscany, Siena, Florence, where you order this and you get a roast on your plate.
Right. Big, huge chunk of meat. Yep.
It's like a 3-pound roast. And then you're supposed to eat it all for dinner. And I had it once and it was amazing, but there's no way you could possibly eat all this meat. I mean, I think some people could, but me, not so much. So, but the carnivore is so doable. I think, especially in Italy, aside from a hamburger. I mean, they're a meat country. Big meat. I mean, you ask them about getting a big meat dish, and we would go into restaurants and I would say, I'd like, the afternoon thingy where you go and you get a drink and they bring you a little plate of
Aperitivo.
Aperitivo. But they bring you a little plate of snacks with your drink. Yeah. And so I would always ask them, I would like just solo, only meats and cheeses. And they would be like, they would do a dance. Just like,
no dancing, no dancing.
No
dance. But so I would get with our afternoon, what's the orange drink?
Aranciate. The
Tequila Sunrise.
Tequila Sunrise. No. The spritzer, oh man.
They were all
Fanta.
Aperol Spritz.
Aperol Spritz. Or the Campari Spritz, which is big an afternoon drink in Italy. But they would always, typically in the South, where we were, they would bring you a little plate of snacks. And so I would always ask for just meat and cheese. And they would be like, happy. So you order a drink and you get a small meal. It's a happy thing.
Yeah, I have been involved with carnivore on and off. I did about 6 weeks last year. And I lost 25 pounds, I think, in 6 weeks. And that was one of the reasons I did it, was to lose weight, and also medical reasons. But it didn't really help me medically, but it did. I lost the weight. I felt better. And I found that you're only eating like maybe twice a day. You don't have to go to for the 3 meals because you kind of feel satisfied. I had like always had that carb craving, like, oh, that'd be really good to have a donut or something. But I wasn't hungry for it. It was just kind of like that addiction, the sugar addiction. So once after about 3 weeks, you kind of get through that addiction and you're pretty much satisfied with, just the meats. But eventually after 6 weeks, I just missed having fruit. So we started implementing fruit and vegetables. So we kind of turned it into a keto diet. Then it turned into a seafood diet, seafood and eat. So I gained most of it back in December.
You still look very thin, Chris, though.
Well, I've started again. I'm into my second week. It's hard it's hard for me right now getting to that satisfied state. Because you really got to eat a lot of meat. I'm like eating meat where I'm just tired of eating, but you still feel hungry. But I've already eaten a chicken, and I hadn't even killed it yet. That's the scary part. When you're sitting there with feathers all over you.
That awkward moment when you realize you probably should have killed that chicken first.
I should have ate a donut.
Well, here's the thing about eating a chicken alive. They say it takes more calories to eat that chicken alive than there actually are contained in the chicken. So you're like you're in a calorie deficit.
Well, that's
so
an interesting thing. It's kind of this lie I think we've been told is watch your calories. No, it's not. It's not about calories.
Watch your chicken.
It's about your carbs. It's about your carbs and your sugars. You remove your carbs and your sugars and increase your protein, you're going to get healthy and lose weight. It's not the calories. So you see all these different diets, but anyway, I lost, 25 pounds in 6 weeks and I didn't count calories. Eat as many calories you want, as long as it's in a beefsteak,
That's the beautiful thing is it's all about eating enough till you're satisfied. So today for lunch, I wasn't sure what I wanted to eat, but I'd always cooking bacon and keeping it in a little container. And I had like 6 strips of bacon.
He keeps bacon under his pillow.
I gave it just for a snack. And so I put it in the microwave and had like 6 strips of bacon. And then I get some Bavarian ham, like 3 or 4 slices. And I put a slice I had Havarti cheese. I put a couple of slices of that, run a line of mayo down the middle. Then I put another drizzle of
pork fat.
Nope, mustard.
Oh.
Then I sprinkle it in the middle
with pork fat.
Nope, I could do that, but I don't. With the hot relish, the jardiniere.
Oh, yeah. That's very good.
Oh, and so I had that, and I eat it like a hot dog, and I had that. What time is it? 4 hours ago. I'm completely satisfied. I load up. So I do. The one thing that I've watched for is I do at Costco. They have avocado oil mayonnaise. So typically mayonnaise is soybean oils and canola oils, all these seed oils, which are really terrible for you. Right. So I do an avocado only oil from Costco. So I'm always loading up on mayo, loading up on salt. I know people are going to say you should be dead, but I'm 30 pounds lighter. I've kept it off. I am really never hungry. I have not, and I will admit this publicly. I don't drink any more, but I don't drink any less.
Yeah.
Whoa!
So for me, my Achilles heel is red wine. So every night we have some red wine, and even along with that, I have still lost weight and kept it off. And now other metabolisms that wouldn't work, but I wasn't trying to lose weight. And I've been this weight. I've gained, I think, 5 pounds. What happened was we went back to Italy in September, and I was eating pasta and pizza, which I normally don't do, and so I've kind of fluctuated. But Italy is a magic land for carnivore. I mean, there's I want to say it's a pork knuckle. I think it's a pork knuckle, stinko.
What is it
in
now?
the South? It's called stinko. Stinko. And we had some in Rome at our favorite restaurant in Rome, which is called Vladimiro's. Amazing little place, but their stinko it's absolutely delectable. It's like a roast with a giant bone in the middle of it, and it's all pork and it's fat and it's amazing. But I mean, if you and I kind of dabble, I'll have a little piece of pizza, a little pasta here and there, just enough to make it fun and interesting, and it's not a deprivation diet. But even I'll have we get this dark chocolate with sea salt, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'll have a couple little chunks of that at night. And so life is very livable in carnivore if it's not like, you can't ever vary. But if your body, you're treating it well, if you vary off a little bit, it's not going to kill you. You're not going to, anyway.
Your fellow carnivores may kill you, but
they may
kill you, but not the food itself.
Not the diet itself.
There you go.
And I just let everybody know we're not doctors, so don't.
Right, we're not giving nutritional advice.
Right.
I was going to throw this in there. If you're in Rome, just eat like the Italians, because if you try to find an American breakfast, I mean, some of the hotels do a passable job. They have good coffee and they have great pastries, but don't try to get a place that says they're making American food. I did that kind of thinking after about 6 or 7 days of being in Italy. I thought, it'd be great to have just a nice big American breakfast. And so we're at this little, not a little, but a restaurant in Campo di Fiore right there, that little touristy place on the south side of the Tiber, right across from Trastevere. But anyway, so I ordered this, I think it was a breakfast sandwich. And so what they had done, this was the weirdest, it was so weird. They had cooked 2 pieces of French toast and put an egg, a piece of like Velveeta cheese. I don't know where they got this stuff. Maybe they found it along the river, a box of American food that they decided to sell back the American. It was so bad. I just thought, that's it. Not going to eat, not going to attempt American
Not a good idea.
food. So you're better off. Well, that's good to know. Actually, that's really interesting. It's a good point, Steve. I never thought of that. You're right. There's so much good eating in Italy, apart from the pizza, the bread, and the pasta. They do amazing foods and salamis and prosciutto
and the salamis themselves are a beautiful blend of fat and protein, which is where you go with the carnivore.
Right.
So literally finding a salami, and I have found some that I loved and some that I absolutely detested. But you have to find, there's lots of varieties they're really into the dried meats and the dried hams. And I mean, the porchetta, it's a very fatty pork. So it's sort of like bacon, except a whole different world, but probably almost better. I mean, and it's got this crusty outer shell, which is like the pork belly.
Right.
It's just amazing.
Now, what are they with the cheeks? What are they? What is that?
The guanciale.
Guanciale. Well, that's what they use for the really good spaghetti. Not I was going to say,
Carbonara.
Carbonara. that is what they use. Is the really good ones. They use the pork cheeks, and oh man, that is
So
good.
the guanciale, now the way that my wife Ann does it is she fries it till it's almost burnt.
Right.
And then what it is, it's like Pop Rocks. You ever
Yes.
done Pop Rocks?
We,
Oh, yeah.
Except
they did.
imagine Pop Rocks, except it's bacon.
Bacon.
Ah, I can't
I mean,
imagine it.
It's just like the carbonara that she makes with the guanciale,
Yep.
and you eat and you bite into these little, and it's sort of like these explosions of
Joy.
flavor, and that is just absolutely amazing. And but not all restaurants use the guanciale with the carbonara. Some of them are used the different not porchetta, but the prosciutto, different prosciuttos, whatever. But
That's
the guanciale, the cheek of the pig, is I think the best. But even that, not all of them are as good as others. You know, it's like anything. You get better quality here, you know, and poorer qualities, and so.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Mike, excellent show, Steve. I like the clashing of the food cultures and the warring, the action scene.
Vegetarian,
Mike,
carnivore.
vegetarian, carnivore, overseas. So, Mike,
Overseas
go
country,
ahead.
carnivores and vegetarians. Sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I just want you to go ahead and finish, close us out, get us out of here.
Oh man, I gotta
Unless,
go.
Steve, you have any final
Oh,
thoughts,
God.
Steve, before
Well, I
we
was
go,
really
Steve, with
encouraged
the
by.
carnivore?
Well, I was
Let's-
really encouraged by what Steve said, because he said that buddy of his started the carnivore and was exercising less. Well, I bet I exercise even less than that guy. So I'm like halfway there. So
Well, there you have it.
there you have it. And I'm ready to go on a what'd you say about that donut diet you were doing, Chris? How was that working?
Duck donuts. No, I don't.
The
Yeah, I haven't started a donut diet.
I'm gonna start pretty soon. I mean,
So,
bagels are great and the pizza's good here, but I'm in New Jersey for a little while, a few weeks.
Oh, that's
But,
right.
yeah,
You're in New
great
Jersey
show.
now.
Yeah, I'm sitting here in my room in New Jersey and playing with the grandkids, having some fun, hanging out.
So the one thing is that I will say about the carnivore. Now, I have no real health issues, quote unquote. You know, not. And when I went on the carnivore, the one thing I did notice is that I did CrossFit for 5 years, and during those 5 years, we would do, pull-ups, push-ups, whatever, and I would always struggle to get 5-10 push-ups out, and I did it 3 days a week, an hour, and it was fairly rigorous, and I did it,
It's brutal.
consistently. And I will tell you, when I went on the carnivore, I was easily up to 30 push-ups without even thinking. My strength levels went up. And even to this day, if I don't do anything for a month, I could probably, and I don't know if you'd want to film me, but whatever, I could get down and do 25
I'd
push-ups
want to
without thinking. I want to see that.
Next show.
Next show.
Challenge is
That's
on.
gonna be it. That's going to be it. It's a push-up contest. But I will say the other thing that a lot of other people have said is so many medical issues have been mitigated just by going carnivore. It's like the processed foods and the sugar and the grains and all of this stuff is so detrimental to us that literally going just meat and fat, protein and fat, the fat content, which is so critical to the diet, because if you just do protein, you're going to hurt yourself, but you have to have the fat protein
Yeah,
balance.
yeah. The
You're gonna poke an eye out, is what'll happen.
Well, somebody is.
Don't run with a handful of fat.
Wham! Right in the eye. Ooh.
But so it's just interesting that it goes against all of the nutritional information that has been
Mhm.
promoted for the last 50 years. And yet people are losing all their weight, skin issues, medical issues, heart disease, diabetes, all this stuff literally is out the window, and people are
Getting healthy again. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Just so
Well,
you know, folks, do
go
your
ahead,
own due
Mike.
diligence. There are no doctors here in this room, so everybody's got to do their due diligence. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
I am only here to entertain you.
That's right. Don't listen. Don't actually do anything he says at home by yourself. Especially the thing about running around with the fat in your hand. Oh, man.
Done that.
Here's the
been
thing.
there.
Here's the thing. We are not capable of running our own lives. We definitely need a doctor to tell us whether we're doing it right or wrong.
There you go.
Because-
Then you got to wonder who's telling the doctor.
We're gonna get a little gold star from YouTube if we keep talking about this.
Yeah. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. And
Ooh.
Or shick, like, and subscribe.
keep us on the air. Did we say that? Keep us
Gotta
on
keep
the
it
air.
on the air. We're struggling here to stay on the air for your benefit. Please send your cash or check.
Your survival is all dependent on us staying
right.
on the air.
Right.
Please tell us you like us.
For our emotional well-being.
Oh man.
Okay.
Oh, we're in trouble already.
Adios, amigos.
Salute.
Did I do it with the right hand? Is it? Wait, is it?
You
Okay, I'm doing
always
right.
screw it up.